Hey everyone, what's up? I'm Angie. This is New Path Tarot. We're going to do a collective reading today, and I am going to pretty early on just open up the floor for whatever stupidity of the higher wants to channel through me. Oh man, maybe I should be a little bit more respectful to those that I channel, but whatever, who cares? They can come in and yell at me if they want to. All right, we got the Mirror as our opening card, and I'm not going to dwell on it or anything, but I do want to just say what it's about by reading like the border stuff. Oh, right, okay, LXVIII, so sure, it's a little further in the back. LXV, uno, dos, tres. The reflection, the illusion, the looking glass. Speak to yourself gently and kindly in the mirror. It will feel awkward at first, but it is a sure way to become friends with yourself. That sounds really weird. See, me personally, I'd rather just channel my spirit guides and have them talk to me. And they usually are nicer to me than I am. So, you know, I don't have to like be nice to myself if they can be nice to me for me. It's like a cheat code way of being nice to yourself. All right. For further reflections, read the poem I Am Not I by Juan Jimenez and Yoko Ono's Mirror piece in Grapefruit, whatever that is. When light, witnessing the deeper self, pure awareness. When dark, narcissism, comparison, harsh edges. Go deeper. Yayoi Kusama's Infinity Mirror Rooms. Oh, is that those really cool looking things where you can go there and get a picture taken? If so, my friend went and did that. And she said that it's really annoying because you have to schedule a time and then you have to wait. And basically you go in there and you can just like take a selfie or whatever, and you have a short amount of time, like not very long, to do it. And then that was it. Have a nice day. So you paid to get in, wait, and all that. Seems a lot like akin to our lives that we live. You know, like you wait 9 months of gestation to see if it's viable. If you do get born, and you'll have to live the life, see if it even goes anywhere. If hypothetically you get to live a spiritual life and do what you came here to do, but not thinking or factoring in all the other idiots in this world that you're going to have to interact with, you're thinking, well, if I just find my soul tribe, it'll be easy. We'll all just get along and we'll all just do the thing that we came here to do, or the things that we came here to do, and it'll work like freaking whatever, and like clockwork, and it'll be like easy as pie and blah blah blah. Wrong. Super wrong. So wrong. Wrong. We were wrong. Just in case you were wondering. I am going to read the whole thing, actually. We look into mirrors every day without recognizing them as portals into another realm. They can shatter, flatter, distort, reflect, and project an image back to us that we deem to be true. The energy of the mirror is all about self-perception. When the archetype of the mirror appears, we are in the mythic land of Narcissus. Narcissus. Am I saying it right? Because that was daffodil yesterday. Was that same flower, like the daffodil flower? I'm going to have to look into this. Who saw himself reflected in a pool and fell in love with his own image. So compelled by his reflection, he could not turn away, a fixation that eventually led to his death. I want to know more about that too, as to I didn't remember the death part and what happened with that. Recognize the power and danger of the mirror. It is a construct, one that may drive a shard between you and your true self. The mirror contains trickster energy. Put the phone down. Stop with comparisons and let the mirror stand empty for a while. Rest with the one inside. So what is it? Am I supposed to look in the mirror and be friends with myself? Or am I supposed to step away from the mirror because the mirror can be my downfall? And it's kind of like, okay, love yourself. Not too much, then you're a narcissist. Oh, wait, am I a narcissist? Let me hate myself again. No, not like that. No, like this. No, be like that. But wait, am I supposed to love myself though? Yes, but not so much that you're a narcissist. Oh, okay. So like, you understand how fucking stupid this all sounds to me? Which one is it? This doesn't make any sense in any kind of practical sense. Oh yeah, I was supposed to put the card up, wasn't I? There you go. Now your life is complete because I put the card up. So you tell me, are we supposed to love ourselves or are we supposed to hate ourselves? Which fucking one is it? And, okay, how about this? What if you have multiple versions of yourself? How does that work? Like, as far as the idea of loving yourself goes, how far does that go? Because if there's like, let's just say 8 of you, like, okay, Jess's reading that came out today, it's for tomorrow, but I get it a day early because I'm a patron. Is her readings for a variant or something? Because I don't really get it. It doesn't make sense to me. I know it ain't for my guide. I mean, sometimes it is, but my guide doesn't have any material possessions or anything anyway. He's on a freaking ship where it's all communal property. I mean, yeah, you guys have your own stuff in some sort of way, but it's supposed to be this vibe of, things like cards and whatever that we all brought go into the communal property stuff because it's, sharing is caring and all. It's all great until somebody spills something on my cards because then I'm going to be pissed. My daughter this morning cleans out her backpack. Awesome. In doing so, she dumped out all the crumbs and little pieces of paper and all the yuckies on the patio. And just left it there. A pen, some trash, and a shit ton of crumbs. Now, should I take the broom and sweep it up? Because I don't want an ant problem. In theory, yeah, I should. Because by the time she gets home, I'm sure there's going to be ants all over it. But no, I'm not. It's outside anyway. So I'm just going to let it sit there. And she's going to ask me for something at some point, and I'm going to say, yeah, sure. Have you done your chores? She does the whiny thing. Okay, cool. But how about this? Go look outside at the frickin' mess you left from emptying out your backpack. Why the hell do you think you should dump out the containings of your, the crumbs of your backpack and just leave it on the ground like that? No, really, I need to know. I need to understand. I'm glad you cleaned your backpack. I really am. I'm not trying to rain on a parade and all that. But come on. But here's another thing. So she's got a friend who's came and slept over here a few times. And this friend and her had an argument the other day. Maybe yesterday even. I don't know. Sometimes she tells me stories as if they're that day and it ends up being like 5,000 years ago. But it's fine. So anyways, she's like, oh, yeah, so my friend said that she's going to go to the counselor and she's going to say that you're abusing me. And I was like, what? Why? She said, because you yell at me. I said, so because I yell at you, I'm abusive? And she's like, that's what she thinks. I'm like, does she not get yelled at her house? And she's like, no, she does. And I'm like, okay, then why would my yelling be considered abusive and not? And she's like, oh no, it's just because she's mad at me. I'm like, oh, so your friend's gonna throw me under the bus because she's mad at you. And why is she mad at you? Because she's jealous of her. And I was like, yeah, no, you're not hanging out with that friend anymore. What? I shouldn't have told you. I'm like, no. I'm not playing that game. I'm not going to let somebody in my home to observe in order to, find dirt or something, find some sort of what they perceive to be a weakness in order to say, what can I do to hurt you? Not realizing, because you have a child mind, exactly just how that's going to affect me as a parent. You don't know what's going on in my life, and you don't know what problems that could potentially cause. So, and by the way, do you know, my daughter sits here and tries to tell me that the kids these days don't have chores. Like, they don't. She's like, just, some of us have to go home and do chores, but most of the kids don't. And I was like, well, that's a damn shame. They should have to do chores because they're not being raised to know how to do life. And yeah, chores suck. Okay, they do. You know what sucks even more? Is me being a parent and having to do the things that I hated to do when I was a kid because my kid won't do them properly, so I got to sit here and do them. That was never an option for me. It was either you do it right or you are screwed. So I'm teaching her how to do them right because, life skills. It really has nothing to do with my laziness. It would be way easier for me to just do everything myself. But, like sweep off the patio, because is it really worth the fight? She's going to whine about it. She's going to cry about it. She's going to scream about it. I'm going to have to sit here and threaten to take away the internet and all the things that I have to do in order to manipulate her into doing something that's just should be common sense, I would think. And yet I can't use logic and reason with her because she doesn't hear that. And she doesn't understand that for some reason that I don't understand. She's got her dad's genes, you guys. So anyways, and, speaking of that, he would do the same thing. So I had a friend who, when, I don't remember when this was, but it was Thanksgiving of a particular year when my kids were young. And she said, she knew all the problems I was having with her dad. And she said, why don't you invite him over for Thanksgiving? And I was like, really? Are you sure? You know how much of a jerkwad he is. She's like, yeah, invite him over for Thanksgiving, for sure. I was like, okay. So we did. And guess what he did the whole time? Acted like he was so nice, shooting the shit with all, like, her dad and nephew and boyfriend and sons and all the people. But meanwhile, getting dirt as he was there on what he could use against me. So my friends were over there and just they were just doing what they do, and they would go like smoke some weed and shit. I wasn't even doing anything, and yet it got used against me. I hang out with people who do that, right? Okay. So then let's fast forward a couple years. I'm in Georgia now, and he calls me one day out of the blue telling me, so I was just letting you know that I got prescribed this for my health or whatever, and it's really, really great for my health, and it's helping me out a lot, and blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, cool, dude. Yeah, it's called medicinal marijuana. I know. Like, what the fuck? Anyways, because it's not legal in Georgia, even medicinally, except in extreme cases when I think all you can get is the oil, and it's like for like you're on your deathbed or something, which is stupid in my opinion that's the case, but hey. So, anyways, he sits there and does this whole thing. You know why? Because he he always has to think about how, see, it shouldn't even be an issue. I would never in my universe exploit something like that in somebody. Why would I? That's stupid. But he's thinking, well, you know, this is something that she could use against me, and because that's what he would do. And how in the past he did try to use it against me. It wasn't even me doing it, it was my friends. He didn't observe me doing anything. I mean, my friend was all like, here, you want some? I was like, not my ex is here, man. I'm not stupid. But yet he still tried. What am I going to do? Hey, guys, nobody smoke weed when he's around because he's a fucking a-hole. No, I shouldn't have invited him in the first place. Like, her being a generous, sweet person, inviting him over for family dinner, Thanksgiving and all, as nice as it was, look at how that turned out. Because that wasn't the only thing he tried to use. I could pull up all my paperwork and crap from court back in the day, but I'd rather not, thanks. So anyways, yeah. I don't know why I went on that tangent, but this is what I would say to do intuitively based on everything I'm saying, like as I was guided to say that stuff, is what I really think everybody should do is take a good, long, solid look in the mirror. And I think you should get real with yourself. Because I don't think you should be sitting there talking to yourself gently and kindly. Become friends with yourself. And I also don't think that you should see yourself reflected in a pool and fall in love with your own image, so compelled by your own reflection you couldn't turn away. So what is that? Was that the problem? A fixation that eventually led to his death? Like, did he literally just get like stuck in an entrancement of looking at himself so much so that he couldn't, so that it led to his own death? Oh, well, that's definitely a problem. So we're all mirrors for each other. That's why we come into each other's lives when we do, how we do, why we do, whatever. And the idea of a mirror is it shows you something that you may or may not see in yourself. Hence projecting. You know, if you do something and you accuse somebody else of doing it, that they don't do it, you're projecting what you do onto them. It's literally like they're a mirror for you, and it's bouncing back your own reflection. It's not even from them. It's literally like a mirror effect, you know, like a boomerang effect, rather. Whereas if you're talking about the kind of that I'm talking about, we're all mirrors for each other. In the way I'm talking about it is like, let's say I do a particular thing and you see that thing and you go, ugh, I don't like that. I think I do that too, or I have that in me, or whatever. I'm going to fix that in myself because I see this other person doing it and it's shedding light on it in a way that's negative. Therefore, I want to improve it within myself or something like that. On the flip side, it can be a positive where you see something in somebody else and you go, you know, I have that quality as well. Maybe I should bring it out and dust it off a little because maybe for whatever reason I haven't been actually like, you know, using it, or I forgot about it or something. Because how many times do I do something and I forget? Like, I'll learn a skill, I'll forget it entirely and all that all the time. So I wonder if I have any books that have to do with mirrors. I mean, I meant to say decks, but that too. Rather, like, that would be good for mirroring type messages. I don't know, but regardless, I think we'll move on from the archetype book from the well-unknown creator Kim Kranz. So, what better cards to use for mirroring type stuff than traditional tarot, though, huh? Why don't we do that? So much quieter today when my kids are at school, huh? If you're comparing to yesterday, I mean. I guess I'm not channeling yet this morning because nobody's coming through yet. my guide, now that I say that, my guide says he wants to know, are you any good at poker? And if so, who do you think would win between the two of you, him or you, at a poker match or whatever? Is it match or game? I don't know. The Hangman reverse. Well, that's good, right? Being that it's reversed and all. We have a raven here looking down at him. And I wonder if the raven is his ally or if it is I don't know what you call it, like a foe, an enemy, you know, whatever. I don't know. That's for you to know. But let's put them up in the position in which he came out. I can see clearly now the rain is gone, is what I'm saying, what I'm hearing. All right, tower reversed. So when he's reversed, he can see the tower from the vantage of it, or rather, okay, how am I trying to say this? The tower is upright, but because he's upside down, he sees it reverse. Does that make sense? Let me see if I can understand my own story best. See, because this is upright, he's reversed. And so because what I'm trying to show you is a perspective switch here, in that he's seeing it reversed. What that means in this story is that he sees what you do not yet. He sees the future of the tower crumbling. You see it upright. You don't necessarily. Like maybe you've had premonitions or dreams or something that tell you, to indicate to you that yeah, it's coming down. But he's got premonition in a different kind of way. Like he knows. So just might want to take that under advisement, in that to you, that's how he looks, and that's how this looks, unless you are him. In which case I say, this bird, let's just say that's the three-eyed raven, you know, it knows even more. All right, Two of Wands reversed. So is it reversed in a negative connotation, as in like why is it reversed is kind of what I'm saying. And for this, I'm going to open up a random tarot book and turn to Two of Wands. Ooh, nice. So this is the pips kind. And that's good, because I don't know pips as well. The kind of power you have when you draw the Two of Wands in the you now position, which I didn't really draw in the you now position, but is that what this is implying? Sure, why not? Is very human. It's a blend of personal spirit and the human that needs to conquer. Wrong. Sorry. I don't want to do the yawns. Can we suppress the yawning, please? Thank you. It is a blend of personal spirit and that human need to conquer, achieve, or prove you're unstoppable. Take care if you get this in the blockage position. Oh, okay. It's one thing feeling. It's one thing feeling. Oh, it's one thing feeling you have the world in your hands, but you have to ground your inspired thinking and stop thinking you're divine. As a future card, you're about to persuade others of your talents or show you mean business. Again, with that contradictory energy, in that it says if you get it in the blockage position, take care, because it's one thing to think you have the world in your hands, but you have to ground your inspired thinking and stop thinking you're divine. Huh? Why would you want to? I get ground inspired thinking, but really though, and stop thinking you're divine. It kind of sounds just like the one where it's like, don't look in the mirror and like yourself. As a future card, but yeah, here, as a future card, make friends with yourself in the mirror. You're about to persuade others of your talents or show you mean business. Huh? That doesn't make any sense to me. I wanted to see it reversed, but I guess there isn't. But anyways, keywords: personal courage, personal power, not being afraid to prove a point, widening your perspective, Pioneering spirit, taking a risk without fear. I like all those. Those are really good. Wouldn't you agree that those are good? Courage, personal power, not being afraid to prove a point, widening your perspective, pioneering spirit, and taking a risk without fear. They were reversed. Yikes. All right, let's see what the bottom card is. We have Page of Cups. Okay. Youthful energy. That's the one that's holding the fish in the cup. I don't have much, but I have this fish. To which I say the fish is a changeable object in that it can be whatever it needs to be at that time. So let's say, for example, I say, it's a running joke that I randomly will say what I need at the store. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. It's fine. But regardless, if I say, I need red wine because my red wine turned yuck, and I need more. I need a new one. So I need that today, as a fact of matter. That means I got to go to the store and get it. You know, I'd rather not. I'd rather it just show up at my door. But hey, I'm not willing to make that happen, so I got to go to the store. But manifestation speaking, I'm putting it out to the universe that I'd like a red blend of some sort. But regardless of that point, here's the real fun part. I say I need something at the store randomly as like kind of like a joke. That fish is the object I need at the store. So when you see the Page of Cups, this is what I want you to think about in your own life, is what is it that's like a small gesture to show that I care about somebody in a gift-giving sort of way, that I can give somebody this item and it means more to them than something superficial. Like on a holiday, you're supposed to give a card and flowers and chocolates or something like that. Like, let's say Valentine's, you know. What's better on Valentine's than that? Well, in theory, it'd be something like well thought out and romantic and, you know, like, yeah, sure, you can go to a restaurant on Valentine's Day, but really, I'd rather like a private rooftop, candlelit, something you'd see out of a movie, but not because you'd see it out of a movie. It'd be more like you know somebody and you were able to like hook it up, you know? And it doesn't even have to be all fucking special. It could be in like some, what do you call it? Reserved area of a restaurant. But the way to get it, to me, not impressive if you throw hundreds and you say, I would like this reserved corner of the restaurant. Here's how much does it, name your price for me to get that. Oh, well, sir, it's Valentine's. Name your price. I have lots of money. Here's my money. Or something like that. People who say stuff like, do you know who I am? My ex used to say that. So there's that. No, see, this is how I prefer it. Let's just say, hypothetically, you used to work there. And so you know all the people and you go in, you go, hey, what's up? They're like, what's up? Haven't seen you in a while. You're like, I know, right? So, hey, I got a favor to ask. I know Thanksgiving. Yeah, back to that one. I know that Valentine's is a no-go for this, but what about on the 13th? You let me reserve this area over here or whatever, and something like just because we're friends and we got a good vibe. Yeah, no problem. Hey, we're going out to dinner. Really? It's the 13th. Yep. You know why? Because we're doing it a day early. You know why? Because tomorrow's too busy and stupid. And why? We'll just do this today instead. How about that? Even better. Something like that. I like that. What's up, cat? What you doing over there, huh? I gotta lift up the massage bed to put the rug down, but I don't feel like it. I was hoping that in my sleep, that when I woke up in this bardo, it would reassimilate and be done for me, but that didn't happen. So I'm going to blame my spirit guides on that one. Anyways, bottom card on the other side, Ace of Wands reversed. Very interesting, because what's right before the Two of Wands? And so in the book, that was there, and it caught my eye. But I did not read it, but I did open right to it. The Ace of Wands isn't just about thinking great thoughts, like the Ace of Swords. It's about acting upon them and making them real. In the you now position, you know the way forwards, and it's timely to go. Great opportunities are on offer in the future position, and you will have to show your true talents or potential. In love issues, this card says get on with it and enjoy the fun. In the blockage position, the Ace of Wands indicates you must be aware of your limitations. So for keywords, we have creative vision, originality, adventure, be passionate about life, act on your inspiration, have self-belief, and sexual initiative. But it's reversed. And so let's just say that's the blockage position, because it makes sense, okay? So the blockage position says you must be aware of your limitations. And the blockage position for the Two of Wands was take care. It's one thing feeling you have the world in your hands, but you have to ground your inspired thinking and stop thinking you're divine. Honestly, isn't that like the worst advice ever? Call me crazy, but I think so. And what's the shadow card over here, you guys? Oh, that was the Page of Cups. My bad. So this was the shadow card then, because this is the bottom on the side I was using. This is the shadow. Okay. All right. Now, keep in mind that that's using a deck that doesn't go with this book, but I think, hi. Yeah, Meow is right. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? I think I'm going to just do what was done yesterday and pull some rando cards again for the heck of it. Do you have any questions that I can answer for you guys? How many of you guys actually have a spirit guide? All right, how about this? Let me ask you this question. This is fun. How many people out there would say something like, I wish I knew who my spirit guides were, or like, how do I get in touch with my spirit guides? How do I, but yet you got a spirit guide literally on the line right now. Ask a spirit guide a question. Go ahead. I'll answer it to the best of my abilities. Unity. Well, I don't know if what you asked, but you probably didn't ask anything, but there's your answer. So, as annoying as that may be for Angie to hear. Okay. So, somebody of the mind of like, okay, well, what am I supposed to do about that in life? Got it. Moving on. Let's do Kipper. Let's do the combos of two. You have another book that has combos of two, do you not? And is it a Letterman one? I think it is. Yes, it is. And I know what it looks like now that I think about it. Is it out? I don't see it over here. All right, we got A Journey and Marriage. But I almost said Mirage. Is it Mirage? Marriage is a mirage. Let me ask you guys a question. What are your thoughts on marriage? And I mean it like this, okay? If you guys had no perks or incentivization to get married financially because your government does that, would you get married to somebody? Assume that, like I said, no financial perk in doing so. What about this? What if also it wasn't something that your family or culture said was a thing to do? For example, I heard Jess say the other day, she said something like, getting married just because you have a kid or whatever. Like, how stupid, who would do that? Kind of thing. I did that. Twice. You know what I mean? Like 2 different people. like a dummy. So, I don't know. I was trying to do the right thing. I was trying to do what I thought was best at the time in my life. That's what I thought you do. Not necessarily because I grew up Christian, but because I wouldn't say I grew up Christian, you know, like I grew up a lot of different religions by being exposed to different ones. Most of them were Christian though, but, or should I say Protestant, Catholic as well though. But not to say Catholic isn't Christian, but it has a distinction of, and also being so Latin based and whatever. Let's just say they have a different Bible. But anyways, you know, I would do this thing where I'd go to different churches just because I was bored and wanted to. So I've been to Jehovah's Witness. I've been to Latter-day Saints. I've been to, those are the ones I'm mentioning that are, Seventh-day Adventist. Wait, did I say, yeah, I said Jehovah's Witness and Latter-day Saints, right? Okay, yeah. Sometimes I mix those two up, and I don't know why. They're not even the same. I've been to, what was the one that I've been to that was interesting? I don't know. I forget now. I had a name. Besides the spiritualist churches. Those are my favorite because, you know, they're weird people like me. So, marriage. Traveling to a wedding, going to an event or a ceremony, going into a committed relationship. Interesting. So, union and that, huh? Okay. Mantra. I am always at the right place with the right person at the right time. That's journey. Don't stop. Oh, sorry. I was trying to be optimistic here. I am committed in all of my relationships for marriage. Are you, though? Should you be? I don't know. It depends. I can't answer that question for you. I mean, I can as your spirit guide, though. Was that your question? I don't think it was. No, really, do you have a question? Or are you just watching this shit show go down? Because it's entertaining and comical for the Astral. Ooh, we got a funeral and the living room. A funeral in the living room. A wake, perhaps. I mean, really, what do we got going on here? I want to know. I want to know. I got to figure out a better way to display these cards, but, you know. Let's see. Better. Always room for improvement, is there not? So let's do that. Let's go to 19 first. And combo with 21. A tomb or grave. Sounds very Four of Swords. Moving from an apartment. End of secrets. End of privacy. Interesting. What? Moving from an apartment. End of secrets. End of privacy. A tomb or grave. Okay. Very interesting. Funeral. I am ready to make changes in my life. Paired with like a fine wine. The living room, which says, I bless my space with love and I place love in each corner. Okay. And by the way, in case you're wondering, if you go to the other number and read it reverse, it says the same thing. A tomb or a grave, moving from an apartment, end of secrets, and privacy. What would you do? Like, I don't know where this came from, as in, I don't know where the author thought of these combos. Ignore those that make you fearful and sad. That degrade you back toward disease and death. Rumi. I would say that's the case. But yeah, what would you give? I heard some of the combos that you gave, and I agree, those are good suggestions. So you said having like you see in a movie or a show, you know, after the funeral at the church, then they'll go to the house and they'll have like food out and people are talking about the person. They're not there, but there's like a table set up memorializing them with a picture of them, and you can go like sign a book and write something about them that you remember. That's what I was thinking of. What are you thinking of? I don't know, but could be the end of a living room situation. Like, what do you do in your living room? Most people. Some people don't even use them. You know, everybody's just in their own rooms all the time. Nobody really uses the common areas or the common space. They just like live their lives without even interacting with each other. You don't even know like what's going on in each other's lives. Everybody's just so caught up in their own routines and everything that they don't really care to know what's up in each other's lives. And I'd say that's kind of sad. Wouldn't you agree? All right. Last one of these, I think. A meeting and the court. So a meeting in court. Court is adjourned. A journey. Has it open to that again? Let's go to 4. 4 says, with 23, a court date, a legal procedure, and a witness. Can I get a witness? A court date, a legal procedure, a witness. So a meeting at court would be potentially all those things. But it could be other things too, having to do with that sort of stuff. But a witness could also be like, I don't know, anything that's similar energy and whatever. A witness, a character reference or something, you know, like or how about anything pertaining to like evidence, for example? That could be an example. So I kind of want to pick 2 that I want to use as an example to go through each of them, just to show the variety of you can get with just one stable card and one that, you know, shows how it changes with each of the others in the deck. So for this example, we have Big Luck. Okay, let's get a good one to pair. And Grief and Sorrow. Now that should be interesting. So let's do either Big Luck and Grief and Sorrow, or rather let's do both. Let's do Big Luck and Grief and Sorrow as to list all of the possibilities. But first we'll see what it is together. Big Luck. How could you have Grief and Sorrow about Big Luck? I would love to see what the author, whose name, by the way, is Alexandre Musruk, The Art of Kipper Reading, what he says regarding it. So let's do 26 first. Okay, and combo with 32 is a solution is found, solving past issues, and encouragement. Something that's encouraging, solving past issues, and a solution that is found. Lucky. Okay, but let's see what all the big lucks are. I'm just going to breeze through them. I might not even finish this. I'm just rolling with vibes. All right, main male. The male querent is lucky. He can expect happy outcome and lots of success in his ventures. Main female, same. Marriage, successful couple, lucky union, blessed marriage, happy ending. 4, meeting, lucky encounter, happy meeting, being in good company, a blessed ceremony. 5, the good Lord, an older male is lucky. He can expect happy outcomes and lots of success in his ventures. The good lady, older female is successful. The time has come for her to be acknowledged and rewarded, a time of success. Now question, if you have a main male and a main female, but you have the good Lord and the good lady, as in older male, older female, who might they be? Because if you're the one getting the reading, who is the older male and the older female in your life? This is something you should probably specify prior to doing a Kipper reading so that you know who is who in the scheme of things. And I mean, it might not say this to do this, but I would take them out if you don't have anybody representing those roles. Because either that, or you could say, if it comes up, it's me in this context, you know, as in the older male, like me in this position is like, let's say the homemaker, the head of household, you know, whereas if it's main male, it's just me in general, that kind of thing. Okay. Anyways, a pleasant letter. A message promises great fortune, a positive turn, exceptional news, an important document. False person. A blessing in disguise, a protection against jealousy and manipulation. False people are driven away. So you can get false person, but with big luck, it's actually really good. All right, a change, lucky change, happy turn, happy outcome, blessed change, epiphany, very positive. Journey, a great car, a blessed journey, a fortunate trip, lot of money. Wealth, fortune, prosperity, financial blessings. You are a good friend with money. Well, everybody's a fucking good friend when you have money, right? A rich girl. A young male is lucky. He can expect happy outcomes and lots of success in his ventures. The young female is lucky. She can expect happy outcomes and lots of success in her ventures. Sad news. A sad situation is handled with care, turning a negative to a positive. Tears are shut away. Things are getting better. Success in love. Middle-aged lover, expected partner, expected declaration, expected romance. His thoughts. One owns expectation, one's own plans, and expected idea. A gift. Expected gift, middle-aged woman visits. What was expected and awaited is finally here. Small child. The querent is patient and has strong desires. The next card will say what kind of expectation he may have. Now, see, this is interesting because I would think big luck and small child. What if you have a child? I would say you read that intuitively because it could have something to do with a small child and big luck. So, a funeral. A blessed change, a positive termination, an amazing transformation, a blessed funeral. What would a blessed funeral be, you guys? Probably somebody who is like suffering a lot and they do a celebration of life. Like, let's say Ozzy, for example. You know, he had Parkinson's and he did his last concert, and that was what he wanted to be. He's like, this is how I'm going to go out, you know. That would be the funeral, in my opinion. But any of you guys who do like this is my celebration of life, this is my funeral before I go kind of thing, that's what I would say big luck and funeral would be together. Although it could be other things, like it says a positive termination, a blessed change, an amazing transformation, you know. But there was one earlier that said something like, I don't remember which one it was, but it was like a blessing in disguise. I would say that as well, in that a funeral with big luck is like, it looks bad or something on the surface, but it's like great. Like, oh, shucks, that sucks that I have to move. I would hate for that to be the case. You know, but yeah, it solves your problems. But here's the thing. The problem with that is like, that's great when it happens sporadically and unexpected. But if you're just sitting here hoping and wishing and praying for that to happen, the likelihood of it happening is never, ever. Never, ever, ever. You're just be sitting there waiting for that shit forever. So, all right. The house. A casino. A gambling house. A successful family. Lucky family. Fortunate home. All right. The living room. A successful family. Lucky family. Valuable intimacy. Personal happiness and one's own luck. What is valuable intimacy? Is it intimacy that you find value in? Or is it intimacy that is financially valuable? I don't know. It's funny. All right, I'm going to stop reading it there, and I'm going to switch to 32 and read it starting at where I left off. So 32. Okay, and I left off at the living room, as in the next one was the military, but I'm going to go back to the living room and read it now, just for the heck of it. So now we're switching from big luck to grief and sorrow, so the tone's probably going to change a lot. So the living room, unsolved personal problems, private life is in decadence, deceived by private life. Okay, a military, a difficult time to come. Problems and difficulties pile up before the person in uniform. A pattern, a depression, an addiction. Next, the court. A lawsuit brings a lot of worries, deceived by a judgment, unsolved legal matters. So imagine that. You got this situation where you go to court, or you have a court situation, and you would swear you got it in the bag, right? Like, there's no way this can go. Well, there's a lot of factors that go into legal matters that you may or may not know. And one of them could be, like, let's say you have a jury. You really never know how that's going to go. Unless you do. Like, if you're paying off the jury behind closed doors or something. But hey, that doesn't happen. You guys know, of course not. But anyways. The thievery. Unsolved problem. The loss brings more sorrow. A secret provokes great sorrow. High honors. Studying hard, making effort, known as an addict. A wrong situation, success leads to stress. All right, so studying hard, making effort. You wouldn't think that combo would probably be. But known as an addict. You want to be known as an addict? No, because nobody trusts you. They don't, like when Callie would have a friend that would come over here who I know steals all my shit all the time. Even she doesn't want to leave her in her room by herself. And I bought them clear backpacks when they would go to each other's house because, let me tell you what this girl did one time. She framed Callie. She put stuff from her house in Callie's backpack just so that she could say that Callie stole stuff from her. Let me tell you what else she did. This girl is half white and half black. She texted her uncle and texted the N-word to him over and over and over again and blamed it on Callie. Just to get Callie in trouble. She also did other stuff and like, you know, stole packages at our old apartment, put them in Callie's room so that Callie would get in trouble. Callie was like, I didn't even freaking know about it at first. But then she did. But then she didn't want to tell me because she didn't want to be in trouble. But then she told me. And she's like, she did it. And I was like, what? Okay, there's that. What's the other thing this girl did? When I accused my daughter of lying to me, telling me that her friend was on the way that one time. There was like a video that I resurfaced. I don't remember if I still have it up or not. I think I do actually, but whatever. And come to find out, it was her friend who said she was already on the way. So then I'm sitting here saying my daughter's a liar. But see, here's the thing. Don't have these people as friends, right? Well, I still let her talk to that girl. Should I? See, that's a coin toss in my book because I don't want to just sit here and say, do not associate with people like that because they're bad people. Well, rather, she's a minor right now. You know, she's 13. And if I let her learn these life skills as to these friends and how shady they are and all this kind of stuff, now, in middle school, save her a hell of a lot of freaking problem if she's in her 20s. Because the way Callie acts sometimes, a little bit over the top, entitled, and manipulative to a degree of almost scariness. And so, you know, jokingly I say, you're like your dad or something. But I'm not trying to be like that to her. It's more just my way of laughing at it to make myself feel better about the fact that, like, holy crap. Hey, spirit guide, bro, you got something to say about our first life, about that? Because he's told me before that in variant 1, 2025, we had a different life entirely, but you know, my kids were a factor, and that they were different because of his involvement and influence in their life. And I'm not going to say much more than that about it as in regards to other people that were or were not a factor, and whatever, and why, and how, and whatever. But I will say, in Angi 13's life, where she was in the Air Force, that one went really different. And there's like 2 versions of that I'm not 100% sure if it went this way or that way. But I do know that I don't think that we had the same kids as a factor, and something else like that. But that life was like really, I was under the impression that it was just drops of consciousness, but I think that it was a full-fledged ass life. But Angi 13 had different childhood memories than I had, because we compartmentalized. And so she was a different personality and vibe entirely. And when we got split into quadrants, that factored into some stuff that I don't really still to this day understand, because I channeled recently that she lived the life maybe like with my spirit guide. How would I even explain that? Like maybe they were compartmentalized or something. Honestly, I don't know. It's possible. Man, that would really be confusing to try to understand and explain in a way that would make sense to normal people. If there's 2 people and they duplicate, you know, they homo themselves, if you saw that video. Latin and Greek versions of those words. So, same soul. And then incarnate again, right? And then put it back together again, the 4, and then split as some sort of like percentages of the 4 into 2, because there's an assumption that though I don't have memory and my spirit guide doesn't have memory, Angi 13 has memory, that she lived this other life I want to say alongside mine, but it branched out differently as a variant. But also, it's like she was split between that and my guide's childhood life as well, which also split out differently. And I don't understand that. Maybe there was dual consciousness. Maybe that's what it was. When I tell you I don't know, I mean I don't know. Because it doesn't make sense. I'd have to pen and paper this crap out and try to figure it out. with like time, with like, I don't know. Let's just say it has something to do with CERN. Thanks a lot, CERN. Freaking assholes. Because I'm pretty sure my guide and I liked our first life. And though we might have had to sit here and freaking try to do shit a different way or whatever, I get it. But why would we have to redo it all in order to make that happen? Couldn't we have just like, oh, I don't know, figured out a way to do it consecutively? Like put us in our light bodies and go and talk to the people. Because if they couldn't pew us out of the sky, then why didn't we just do that? Why would we have to redo it again? That's annoying AF, and I don't like it. And I'm definitely going to be reading alien fine print from now on. Don't sign shit that's a blank paper. Don't sign shit with white space on it, you guys. For real. No. I'm telling you, I could teach you guys how to write up a paper to not let it be effed with by the ets. Anyways, I didn't finish this, but I want to end it at an hour. So, you guys get the point though, right? So if you have any questions, take it up with your chain of command, whomever's that may be. Go all the way to source if you want. Sidestep your guides if you need to, if they're not like helping out or listening or whatever. But if they are, then you might want to make right with them. Peace.